Hello, my name is Bernd and I'm part of the Trace Compass development team. In this video I would like to explain how to install the trace viewer for VSCode. The trace viewer for VSCode is available as VSCode extension on the Code Marketplace. It is also available on Open-VSX, which can be used in VSCode compatible IDEs like VSCodium or Eclipse IDE. To install it, go to the Extension tab, type Trace Viewer, and select the Trace Viewer for VSCode. A page will open which describes the extension and gives you some pointers to get started. It also has some references. Now install the extension. A new icon will appear, and if it's not there, just go to the View, Open View menu and select the Trace Viewer. The Trace Viewer consists of two parts, the Viewer part that we just installed and the Trace Server backend. The Trace Server backend is responsible for reading the traces and providing analysis results. An exchange protocol exists between the viewer and the trace server. The protocol is called Trace Server Protocol, and it will define how data is exchanged between the viewer and the trace server. Scrolling down, you find a section about how to obtain a trace server from the Eclipse Trace Compass project. If you have your own trace server, then install that in your laptop. I will download the Linux version of the Trace Compass server. If you're interested or need the Windows version, you can use the other link. After it's downloaded, I will copy it to my bin directory, untar it, and once it's untarred, I have a trace server available in my computer. You can now start the trace server manually, or to make it easier and have an integrated version, you can use another extension which is called VSCode Trace Server and install it into VSCode. This extension provides you new commands to start and stop the trace server, and you can configure the command line location and command line parameters. To make sure that I'm able to start the right trace server, I go to Settings, Extensions, find the trace server, and look for the path. By default, it's under /user bin, but on my computer I have it installed on a different location. Once I changed it, I can now start with trace analysis. So the first thing I want to do is start the trace server with that command. But if you go directly to open a trace, it will start it automatically for you. So now the trace server is started, you get a notification, and in the status bar you see that the trace server is available. So the first thing the viewer is doing when it connects to the trace server, it checks are there any traces available. If not, you can now open traces using the Open Trace button. You can select file or folder traces. File traces are single files. Folder traces are CTF traces, common trace format. They're coming from the Linux LTTNG support, tracer support. I will select the folder. I will go into my backup directory where I have a few LTTNG traces. I click select. Now you see that the traces are analyzed and put into the Open Traces tab. Once it's there, it will be open. So the trace is a kernel and a USB trace. Selecting the trace, you will now see all the available views that comes with that type of traces. The backend defines what traces are available. Open a few views will show the status. Alternatively, you can go to the file browser and navigate to a directory that contains traces. This time I will open a single trace file in ftrace format. It will open it and will add it in the same way in like the other traces. Once you're finished tracing and want to stop analyzing traces, you can stop the trace server with the trace server stop or reset command. Once it's stopped, the status bar will show that the trace server is right now not running. I hope this video helps, and thank you for listening.